And you're confident that you're going to deliver credible and fair elections?
Of course. Only one way I know, and that is the correct way. I do not believe in, there's so much negative things in the newspapers. I will not sell my integrity for all the oil in Guyana.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Yeah, this is the elite team.
The root team.
Strong team.
Number one. PPP team.
Yeah.
You understand? PPP all the way.
Yeah, one Guyana.
Yes.
We're in the fort for Monday morning.
In any weather, rain, sun,
We are
in the
here.
night.
Guyana really nice. Guyana. It's a nice place.
Oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God.
All right, good evening. Let's begin our program. 7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Wherever you are, we just wish you. What are we wishing you? We're wishing you a happy, get your phone snatched away day or night or whatever. Local government elections. I don't know. Whatever it is you guys want us to wish you guys, we just want to wish people nothing but the best. Those good ones who are watching, mind you. All right, let's get straight into the business here as you share the link. Coming up shortly, Lincoln Lewis, veteran trade unionist. Later on, we shall be joined by two persons, former U.S. immigration expert, and we will be joined by attorney at law, Shellen Washington. All right, so good evening again. This is what's happening here now as we prepare to have Lincoln Lewis on the first round. But we want to be able to deal with this issue first. You should know her by now. You should know her by now. And not, you should know her by now, not this one here. Sorry about that. I shouldn't be laughing. This is a serious problem. Sorry about that again, but let's get back to this one here. This is a permanent secretary of the Ministry of Home Affairs. And recently, she has had her phone confiscated by U.S. authorities as she landed down the Miami International Airport. She has issued, finally, she has issued a statement, or if we want to call it a statement, that she issued. We will get right into that statement. But before that, let's show you guys this. This cellular phone is used to track and to track all the CCTV cameras in Georgetown, and some of those CCTV cameras are at the airport and other parts of the East Bank and the east coast of Demerara. So here's what's happening now. This is a serious device, and we are told that it's in the hands of some unscrupulous politicians and so-called business people, some corrupt ones. And we know who some of them are, right? Pomposetting themselves as rich, filthy rich people. Billionaire, sorry. Okay, so here's what's happening. Let's get straight to her press release. And this is coming out of the permanent secretary within the Ministry of Home Affairs. And you guys be the judge. Lots of judges and magistrates are watching tonight's program, right? Good. Welcome. Now, this is what she's saying. I wish to refer to speculation, both in the print and social media, about my interface recently with U.S. immigration officials at Miami International Airport on April 8th, 2023. Most of what has been reported is erroneous. Okay, so you guys heard, she's saying most of what has been reported is erroneous. So she's coming here to set the record straight, right? So here it is now. Let's continue. I wish to clarify that I was referred to for a routine secondary check. There was a misunderstanding. There we go. Put your hands up. Here comes this part. I'll repeat. She says, I wish to clarify that I was referred for a routine secondary check. There was a misunderstanding over my official cell phone without me being able to advise my officials. I advise that the cell phone be sent to the Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Robeson Ben in Guyana. Now, let's take a pin there for a moment. So just like that, they decided, well, they can pull anybody over secondary, it's all right, right? But they decided just out of the blue that they are going to, sorry, we're not dealing with that as yet. But just out of the blue, they decided that they're going to pull her over for fitness, so to speak. So here's what it says. If the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, CBP, office at the airport or the port of entry cannot verify your information, or if you do not have all of the required documentation, a CBP officer may direct you to an interview area known as secondary inspection. Secondary inspection allows inspectors to conduct additional search or research. Now let's continue with her statement. She has admitted that yes, she was pulled over for fitness by immigration authority at the Miami International Airport. She's saying yes, there was a routine secondary check. Well, she's saying routine, but they probably already know who she was walking through there. So she says here now that there was a misunderstanding over my official cell phone. What could that misunderstanding? If you have a cell phone, it's yours. What could be a misunderstanding? Now, look, she's got to come clean. She's not coming clean. She has to respond to this here. Was she carrying this broadband cell phone? Sorry. This is used to track all CCTV cameras and so forth. And it can be used as a cell phone as well. But, in what capacity was she traveling, assuming that this is what she had, mind you, assuming, but, why would she leave Guyana with this equipment? If she was supposedly not on official business, why would she leave Guyana with this equipment? And that's the concern right now. So let's get back to the statement so you guys can get a better understanding for some of you who may have missed it. She says, I wish to clarify that I was referred to a routine secondary check. There was a misunderstanding over my official cell phone without me being able to advise my officials, whatever the heck that means. She says, I advised that, first of all, she can't advise the immigration authority. She can't advise them what to do and what not to do. But she is claiming here, as presumptuous as she is, and probably arrogant too, especially to the immigration officials. She says here now, I advise that the cell phone be sent to the Ministry of Home Affairs, and she puts here, Honorable Robeson Ben in Guyana. Okay? So she continues here. Thereafter, I was allowed the choice of entering the United States of America or continuing on my journey, which last I opted to so do. In other words, she opted to continue on her journey. Now, if you're in transit visa, and in transit simply means that you got to board another flight. She is claiming here that they offered her, you can go into the US, it's okay. She has an in-transit visa, but she's saying that they said that she can go, right? They told me that I can go. Okay, all right. That's what she claims. We probably know otherwise. And she continues here. Subsequently, During my return journey, I was advised. Listen to this carefully while we prepare to have our guest on, Lincoln Lewis, who is in studio, and I must apologize to the veteran trade unionist. But I'll wrap up with this here now. She claims, subsequently, during my return journey, I was advised that my US visa was revoked on the 10th of April, 2023, and that I would have to make alternative arrangements to return to Guyana. I remain open to engaging with U.S. attorney. Nobody cares whether you remain open to engage. They don't want you to engage. They want you to cooperate, just like that song in Guyana, let us cooperate for Guyana. Well, they want you to cooperate, not engage with them. So they have revoked her visa. She doesn't know why. And so when she attempted to travel back, she was told that she was denied entry into the United States of America. And therefore, she had to book another flight or change her flight to travel through the UK. Now, the question is, was she subjected or subjected to secondary check or search or questioning at Heathrow International Airport? She needs to answer that particular question. She also needs to answer whether she has to answer whether she was carrying X amount of money over the limit that is required. Lots of questions. But I tell you guys this, what she put out here is what we will call Jim Cock Bring Ram Goat story. Now we have veteran trade unionists with us, Lincoln Brandon Lewis. Let me take this time out to apologize to Mr. Lewis for delaying him for about 5 or so minutes. My apologies, sir. Good night, and how are you?
Good night, Mark. Good night, viewers. I'm fine tonight.
Yeah. Quickly,
Ready
let's start off with this here, sir. This whole situation with the permanent secretary, and now we're hearing her explanation. Your take, sir.
My only concern that she believes that we are all fools in this country. And they think what you say no add up at all. And it tells you the people who are in privileged position in this country or high positions in this country, how they see us as citizens. They believe they can bring anything to people and we will be gullible, we will just lap it up. I can't understand. If this story that she's telling me, that is a secondary check-in. So what the hell did the foreign ministry wrote to the US embassy to find out, to question that? As simple as that.
Something isn't. It's not adding up, sir. It's not adding up.
No, as a young woman, is it again? I'm still asking myself: is she believe that we're stupid, or is it that she's stupid?
Probably the
I don't
latter.
They gotta decide what they want to see, man. Don't believe. Don't give us anything.
1 minute she was on official business, the next minute she wasn't. 1 minute, the minister claiming that he gave her permission to go. Next minute you hear his party business, even if it's PPP business. Isn't she a permanent secretary? What's the conflict there? They're now claiming that it's party business that she was on. I don't know. I thought permanent secretaries are supposed to be apolitical. But what's happening there?
Well, that only applies when the PPP is in opposition. What the PPP do is PPPize every part of government when they're in government. That's what they do. And that's what's happening, right?
Exactly. Almost everyone saying that it's rubbish.
until,
It's rubbish.
until many of us come to the reality that the PPP.
We lost Lincoln Lewis there. We lost him there. And I noticed Lemon, our operator, has put that photo up with her and her husband, her child, and the controversial quote unquote businessman Azruddin Mohammed, your best friend out in Guyana. But you got cut off there for a quick minute, Mr. Lewis. Go ahead, sir.
They have to decide what they want to see. And they need to come clean to us in this country and tell us what happened. You can't tell us one thing last week and this week you tell us another thing. But that's when you want to lie. And if you're a liar, you need to remember what you've said first and foremost. In the first instance, one thing was said that led to the country writing the U.S. government by the Foreign Affairs acting, conducting the embassy, and then suddenly it's just a secondary check. It wasn't anything big.
All right,
secondary check. Anything big? How the hell the cell phone get involved? You just drop down? This thing is not enough at all.
The cell phone device you're hearing is not a normal cell phone. It's one that could monitor CCTV cameras and so forth. That's what we're hearing. And she needs to respond as to whether that is accurate and why was she carrying that particular cell phone that could monitor CCTV cameras wherever it is, and what was her reason for carrying that, and what else the U.S. authority may have gotten from that cell phone. Only the U.S. authority knows. But you were saying something, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mark, basically what these people are telling us, that we're damn stupid. That explanation is too far-fetched. And any sensible person that is serious about anything will never write something like this. So I'm saying again, either they are stupid or they believe that we are stupid and gullible. That's it.
All right. We got to move on to other stuff, at least for now. Let's move right into the Guyana elections. Oops, there goes Lemon again. Sorry if I scare you guys here for a moment. But all the forgeries we're hearing, forged signatures and dead people on the list and all these things. And Claudette Singh is quiet, but the chief elections officer, Vishnu Prasad, issued a statement this afternoon, and he said, while the Elections Commission is moving full steam ahead with its plans for the 12th of June local government elections, the commission is in no position to investigate the reports of persons and parties using forged signatures on their nomination documents. Lincoln, did you hear that? Your take, sir.
So tell me really, how you want to run a credible election? If you start wrong, you're going to end wrong. They have a responsibility. It is, when was the recount or the 2020 regional and national election? They were quick off the blocks to call in police and put all kind of information. They had seen the need for that. But now, when the boot's on the other foot, when you want to when the PPP has been caught red-handed, in fraudulent activities, you decide that you don't have a responsibility to investigate. Something is definitely wrong.
Something
The
is,
chairman.
yeah.
Something is definitely wrong with the chairman, the commissioners, and the CEO.
Again, people
Something is
cannot
wrong.
look with all the skullduggery, the dead people's names on the list, people forging other people's signatures, hundreds and hundreds of that. But this is coming out of the Guyana Elections Commission's office, people. News source. This is newssource.gy. It's saying, Chief Elections Officer Vishnu Prasad this afternoon said, while the Elections Commission is moving full steam, in other words, to hell with anything else, the Elections Commission is moving full steam ahead with its plans for the 12th June local government elections. The Commission, and I want you guys to hear this, this is no propaganda or whatever, the Commission is in no position to investigate the reports of persons and parties using forged signatures on their nomination documents. They are in no position at all. So then what then would have forged documents and stuff?
You see the moment that they are caught, the next thing is happening is that they now bring out the report of the commission that they have set up. A commission, a report that says nothing about the role of nothing about the shenanigans that the opposition at that time was involved in. Members of the commission, what they were involved in. What they did is just what they set out to do. Get a report to demonize Lewinfield and others. That's what they are wanting. And they bring it out when they are caught with their pants down. So they expect us to stop talking about what they did with those nomination sheets and switch to the report that was done by those three persons who were appointed to give them something that they can use as political propaganda. We gotta remain focused, Mark. Let me tell you this. We have had enough of these people and their shenanigans. And I want to urge the viewers, don't even read the report. Hold their feet to the fire on those and I say further, we should go back. Citizens should go right back to all the police stations in the vicinity that these acts were committed and make sure they target the police for the police to take action against these guys. Let me make it very clear. The law does not be made for the government or the strong and mighty to trample the rights of the ordinary man. I'm passionate about this issue now because it's a trade unionist, Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow, that started the fight, the march in 1926 for man, one vote in this country. The trade union fight for it. Workers give their sweat, tears, and blood to have that. We cannot allow now this group of brigands to use mechanisms to deny us the right to nominate in the first instance, to vote in the second instance, and to govern in the interest of our respective communities. We gotta take something, we gotta fight back. You have had enough of these guys. They must be held accountable. One set of people, fraud is fraud. One set of people can be held accountable, and the other set running scot-free every time. You know, these are the things that cause countries to become ungovernable. These are the type of things. When people believe that because they pull the brains of the levers of power, they can do any damn thing. And let me go further to say to persons that we have to stop this. We have to stop thinking that because the police have been given instructions, they will not carry out, they should not carry out the instruction because they will lose their jobs. If the police swear to protect, then the police must do it. Losing your job or be victimized for what you consider to be just and fair, consistent with the holding of the laws of the land, worth that penalty. We cannot, I want to urge the police, you can't continue to do this thing to people. You can't tell me that when the PPP as a political party, the operatives are involved in shenanigans, you turn your eyes away because somebody from Freedom House called you and tell you not to act. Or in some cases, they don't even have to call them. They just accept that they should not act.
And that's
because they believe if they act,
that they will be penalized.
Going to call them and
yeah, Mr. Levis, let's take points. Good points. Let's take the time to welcome Attorney at Law Shellen Washington with us this evening. Good evening, ma'am. How are you?
Hi, good evening, Mark, and thank you for having me. I'm well.
Yeah, picking up from where we last when we last spoke on this program about the forging of documents and the fact that the PPP, they have been caught red-handed, so to speak. What is your take on this here? A statement coming out of GCOM, the Chief Elections Officer. This is the statement, please. It reads, according to news source, Chief Elections Officer Vishnu Prasad this afternoon said, while the Elections Commission is moving full steam ahead with its plans for the 12th June local government elections, the Commission is in no position to investigate the reports of persons and parties using forged signatures on their nomination documents. Your take, please.
This is kind of, it should leave Guyanese at this point speechless at the type of things the Election Commission would be saying publicly. Vishnu Prasad should be embarrassed to be putting a statement of that sort out to the public, blatantly telling the public that if there's allegations of fraud, that there's basically nothing that the Election Commission would be doing about it. There wouldn't be taking any actions. There wouldn't be any investigation into these allegations. Is they're basically saying, Guyanese, we frankly don't care. We're not here for it. And elections is going to go full speed ahead, regardless of whether or not there's allegations of fraud. This shows the blatant type of behavior in ignoring such type of conduct on the part of the PPP. And it also shows that the type of persons we have, as you know, in the Election Commission, They are facilitating misconduct. They're facilitating fraud. They're facilitating an election that is rigged and is plagued with corruptions. They're not there to ensure that elections are done free or fair. They're not there to ensure that the will of the Guyanese people is made known and is actually allowed to move forward. They're there to, as a matter of fact, I think the election commission is more of a hindrance, because if they weren't there, maybe the opposition would have pressed and somehow have some sort of investigation into these allegations. But there you have it, Vishnu Prasad telling the Guyanese people that we're moving forward with election. We're not going to do any investigation. Frankly, we don't care that there's any type of allegations relating to fraud coming from either side. And this is blatant. And Guyanese, you shouldn't sit down and take this. Guyanese people should get up, take to the street and speak out, because it's wrong. For all I care, go on television, go wherever you can, go into the communities, tell the people, let everyone know that the election, if they're seeing fraudulent signatures, fraudulent names, people who are not even in Guyana are voting, this need to come out. The public need to be aware of what is happening in our elections in Guyana.
Absolutely. So true. Let me apologize. A lot of our viewers are asking to remove the photograph from the page. We will have it remain there for another 5 minutes or so. So you guys got to stomach yourself watching this woman that is causing problems at GCOM. Almost $500 million. I'm counting for a farce commission of inquiry into the 2020 general and regional elections. A waste of time. You already said that they wanted this particular outcome to target 3 individuals, and we'll touch on that question because we have a lawyer here. 3 individuals who are before the court that the Commission of Inquiry came out to say something that the PPP wants them to say. And they have spent almost $500 million, taxpayers' dollars, to arrive at that decision that the Commission of Inquiry came out. What a waste of taxpayers' monies, Lincoln.
Let me say to you that when the PPP never look at costs when it comes to their politics. The end justifies the means. And even if they have to spend $1 billion, what they want is to justify, to get a report that says the things that this report has said. And I don't believe that when I read this report, I don't believe that this report was written by the 3 jurists who were there. I believe it's a report that was being written maybe by one man. That is how Guyana is run. That's how it's being run. We spend money.
Go ahead, sir.
What they're going to do with this report is just for the next week or 2, they are going to run around with this report. This is what the report says. Seeking to distract people's attention from the shenanigans, from the act of starting to rig an election. They never thought that people would have caught up with them. But now that they've been caught red-handed, the report is now used as a facade to cover the dust of
cover the corruption. Indeed, we
Yeah,
can just imagine what they. We can
We
just
will not
imagine
do-
what they've done. Yeah,
The PPP will not pay decent wages and salaries to workers who are employed there.
absolutely.
But they will find money to satisfy their political needs. What they want to do is just to demonize people who they feel will not support their shenanigans. And the faster many persons come to terms and understand that this is an Herculean task in front of us, and we have to fight every day to bring about the change that we would like to see, or the change that is necessary. We are going to remain where we are. Let me tell you what, the little of the recommendations, like talking about addressing the composition, they will take everything from the report. But when you talk about addressing the composition of the election commission, they will not touch it. They will not touch it. As they speak about the report speak about campaign reform, they will not touch that. They will not touch those issues because what they're doing right now benefit them, and any change can cause them to be held accountable. They don't want it.
You are correct. It's
So,
a diversion.
Everything will go to them except that. Thank you.
It's a diversion indeed. Let's get to the attorney. Thank you so much, Lincoln. Get to the attorney concerning these three persons who are currently before the court. They are before the court now for almost 3 years. And each time they turn up, prosecutor is not ready. They can't find this book. They don't have any evidence or nothing. And then the PPP now created, they paid some individuals, handpicked some of these individuals to be part of what they considered a commission of inquiry into the March 2nd, 2020 general and regional elections. The findings, according to the commission, and the big headline in the PPP propaganda newspapers are Lowenfield, Mingo, and Myers involved in shockingly brazen attempts to derail and corrupt 2020 elections. The commission of inquiry concludes. How does that appear to you as a lawyer, that these persons are before the court for trumped up charges, but a commission of inquiry was put together by the PPP has found them guilty? Explain this, please, for us, Ms. Washington.
I've always been outspoken about the bullying tactics used by the PPP and the way they enforce the law when it's suitable for them, and they implement policies, they implement laws that are favorable to them, but disfavorable to anybody who comes up against them. I've always been outspoken about that because the PPP has used their power. They've used the police force. They've used their office to do things which shouldn't be done in a country like Guyana. So to find out now that the PPP has empaneled a commission to investigate allegations regarding these people, I'm not surprised that the findings would come out as being adverse against those persons. First of all, in Guyana, every single attorney knows that everyone has a right to a speedy trial. And if there's any trial that has been dragged on for months or years, whatever the time frame is, without the prosecutors being able to prosecute, every single attorney knows that you can have that dismissed if it's not timely done. It's a specific time that they have to be prosecuted. And to wait for months or however long it took the PPP to get a commission of inquiry to do some sort of so-called investigation, and we have to put the word investigation in inverted commas because we know what that means as it relates to Ghana. Nothing is really free or fair when it comes to a corrupt governing body that governs a country that's been oppressed for decades. And to come up with this and say, oh, finally we found that they were engaged in certain conduct which influenced, or they were attempting to influence the outcome of the election, I'm not at all surprised. This, when it happens under the PPP government, No inquiry is done. There's no investigation, and they're allowed to perpetuate a ongoing scheme of fraudulent conduct consecutively over a period of what, 23 years. Guyanese sat under this and allowed the PPP to perpetuate fraudulent conduct when it comes to our elections. So why are they now coming and tell us, oh, we have these people who are a part of APNU and they committed some sort of misconduct when they were in a part of the election commission? Make it make sense, because we have 23 years of you rigging, 23 years of you holding on to power when you're not even entitled to it, but you grab onto it covetously and refuse to step down. But when APNU gets there, and they have their own people, and the people of Guyana are voting and they're expressing their views and they're saying we need changes, now you come and say, oh, these people were involved in misconduct because they're not PPP, because they don't support your policies. But when we had APNU, when we had the collation, I didn't see any investigations done into Guyana elections commissions who were there under the PPP. I didn't see any such thing. But once we get the power crave going on, they're struggling to hold on to power. They will hold on to it at any cost. They will take any type of actions to oppress those who step up against them. And this type of conduct, Guyana, you have to crush that kind of conduct. Crush the head of the serpent. Stop this conduct in its tracks and say, well, enough is enough. Elections must become free and fair. And even if the PPP wanted to do an investigation, they should have called some independent body. And they shouldn't even be the one to appoint those people. They shouldn't have. So I believe the findings, either way, they would have come out to be adverse against those parties.
They should have just shut up and allowed the court to try these people. It's been almost 3 years now. It's unfair that these folks are being persecuted by the PPP regime.
Mark, that is shocking. 3 years, that is shocking.
Most people have thrown the report, the COI report, in the rubbish bin where it's supposed to be. And I don't want to waste much more time with that. It's rubbish. We have been saying it right here on 107.1 FM that it's garbage, it's a farce, and it turned out to be exactly
But Mark,
that.
hold up. An investigation has nothing to do with what's going on before the court. That investigation was done after those persons were brought before the court. And as you know, if a person is charged, they have a right to know what is the type of evidence you have against them. So I want to know who is their defense attorney, because no commission could bring any evidence after the fact, after they were charged, and then say, oh, wait, by the way, we charged you 3 years ago, but now we also found this evidence here, or we made this up, and now we're going to use this against you. It doesn't happen that way.
With almost $500 million Guyana dollars. Let's bring back Mr. Lincoln Lewis. You're there on the ground as you travel to Linden, Borbice, wherever, all across Georgetown. What's the sentiments like on the ground with the people? All these fraud coming from the PPP side, forged documents, forged signatures, dead people's names on the list. All 99% of it we're seeing coming directly from the PPP. What's the sentiments on the ground? What are the sentiments on the ground? Please, sir.
There's a high level of concern about what is taking place. People want justice, but there are many persons who want to cross the line to deliver the justice. People are concerned that the PPP is buying its way using state funds to silence persons, buying its way in making sure that some people who normally would have spoken are being muzzled by using the state dollars. It's a serious concern. There are so many persons who are of the view that the means to bring about this change may not be one that can be swallowed by a number of persons in society. People are dissatisfied. And I'll tell you this, it is not only persons who, it across the ethnic divide. It is across the political divide. People are concerned. And something has to be done to have them to give way to justice and fair play in this society. The PPP have corrupted nearly every institution in this society. While they may not have corrupted every individuals in the institutions, but they have corrupted every institution. And when they talk as if that the country is the personal property and we are the subjects. But as I say this, let me remind them that my forebears and many of us forebears fought slavery, fought indentureship, fought colonialism with the white man. We shall not allow ourselves to be recolonized by this group.
Well said,
of
Mr.
brigands.
Lewis. Well said. Ms. Washington, you've heard there the sentiments on the ground. I'm sure you're in touch with your folks in Guyana as well. You've been reading and so forth. Are you optimistic that with this billions of dollars we're hearing in oil revenues, nothing really going to the ordinary people? They just discovered another oil well with billions of dollars of oil. How do you feel in terms of the future of Guyana under this corrupt PPP regime?
Not very optimistic. As you can see, we have been earning revenue from oil. We've had revenue from gold. We've had, several instances where natural resources was discovered in Guyana. Under the PPP in particular, we have this oil. And I personally have not seen much of any type of changes in Guyana. Although people might want to argue that the economy is growing, I would argue the opposite, because an economy, the growth of an economy, it's not just about having natural resources, because as is evident from a lot of countries, especially certain African countries where there's a lot of natural resources, and you go to those countries, you'll see the situation that's going on. In Guyana, likewise, although we have natural resources, if the resources is not properly distributed and there's not a proper distribution of wealth in those countries, it's not even possible for the economy to grow, because the wealth is centralized in one place. One set of people gets the wealth. The poor, the money isn't. One of the things that makes a country very developed and successful is the country's ability to ensure that resources are readily available to the population. It's not just available to the rich. It's not just the rich get richer. It's they ensure that there's proper education, there's proper health facilities, there's various resources that has to be ciphered down to the population. And in Guyana, as you can see, that's not the case. That's hardly the case, because you still have towns like Linden, you have New Amsterdam, you have Georgetown, and there's still not a widespread distribution of wealth. The government is still not creating employment. They're still not able to reach those who are in poverty. And now we're hearing that they're bringing in workers, skilled workers from other countries. When you have the poor in Guyana who are begging and crying and saying, please help us, They're not focused on those people. So I cannot see any pathway to any proper growth in our economy under this administration, who is so focused on filling their pockets, putting their corrupt friends and coons into office, and not even looking out for the interests of the Guyanese people. And that's what the Guyanese people has to wake up to. Whether you be Afro-Guyanese, whether you be Indo-Guyanese, wake up and recognize that until you have a government who is able to reach the needs of all the people, not some of the people, because it's pointless if you're being able to fill your pocket because you're PPP and your brother or your neighbor right next door is starving and living in poverty. The economy cannot grow when there's uneven distribution of wealth. It has to be equalized in order for us to stand up and say, yes, our economy is becoming successful, it's growing. No, it's not. We're getting natural resources, and that's the end, full stop. But there's no growth there. There's other things, other factors that affects growth. And until we see such, not under this administration needs to change.
Of course, agree with you 100%. It needs to change, and swiftly. So quickly before we go, Lincoln, we will invite you back. In fact, we know that you held a press conference about your land issue. We will carry that sometime tomorrow. But before we go, though, the spy network, there's a so-called intelligence unit being created, a spy on citizens, whether in Guyana or outside Guyana. They're heading down very, 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 very murky waters. Speaking of the Army now, they will have a new boss come Friday. This guy, controversial Colonel, Lieutenant Colonel Omar Khan, controversial figure there. He is set to take over the Army. And we are hearing that the new head of this intelligence, I don't know what intelligence, but intelligence unit would be either Hicken or an Army officer who is currently training in the U.S. by the name of Howell, Sheldon Howell. We're not sure, but Mr. Lewis, what is your take on this this shakeup in the Army, so to speak, and this on intelligence unit to spy on citizens?
They are good at that. That is all what they intend to do. Have any incentive policies in society, and for that reason, they are going to spy on us. I want to tell you that they have their plans, but they better make sure that the plans are foolproof. My problem is that these guys who are setting up these mechanisms to violate laws and transgress people's rights and so on, is that this group here, when they get into opposition or they get into private life, that we don't follow them up and deal with them. We can't deal with these people. Can't allow these people to do this to us. All these men and women who want to work with these spy agencies to do these type of things. You know, in the metropolitan world, is that you have persons who are violators of the laws, transgressors of the people's rights, when they are placed in privileged position, representing, working for the state. There are a number of things like that in the United States. But you know what happened? There is still an opportunity that when they are caught, they will be dealt with condemning. We don't have that situation in Guyana, where when you catch them, or whenever they are caught, they pay the price. They are setting up a world where justice will not be in the courts, but will be in the streets. Mark my word, that will well be happening. Where justice will be in the streets and not in the courts. Because you know there are times when you listen to the judges, you want to know where they live in. When they give a ruling, you want to know what stupidity is this? Well, all these things are. I cannot understand a situation where people are placed in privileged position and can be cowed into the circumstance where they're not guided by the laws, convention, and time honored principles. Something like that. There are enough of them who are probably not. And we have to stand up for our rights now.
We certainly have
Keep
to do
standing
that.
up. Thank you,
10
man.
o'clock in beautiful Guyana, 10 o'clock wherever else you are in the Eastern Standard Time, different time zone, wherever you are. Good morning or good night or good afternoon. So I'm reading some of the comments, and we deserve better there. Our folks deserve better in Guyana. We cannot expect anything better from this corrupt PPP regime. Please, Ms. Washington, your closing remarks.
Right. I've been saying it, and I hope the Guyanese people are listening, and I hope you've been sharing the message. I hope you've been sharing the link. I hope you've been telling folks some of the things you hear on this show and you've learned. Each night you come on, there's a different person, there's different types of information that Mark is bringing to the public, making you aware of what is going on, exposing the corruption, the corrupt practices under the PPP. And, I've heard Lincoln said tonight that justice would be in the street, but the fact is the PPP have been taking justice in the street, but I think at some point that has to be turned around. They've been taking their extrajudicial justice. It hasn't been going through the court. And Guyanese people, wake up. You've been getting many wake-up calls. You've been getting several wake-up calls. Wake up now and recognize what is happening and fight for changes. Advocate for changes. We keep telling you, you watch the show, you have to understand that some of the things you're hearing and you're seeing, even in the news, even the blatant comment from the Election Commission regarding the fraud. Now, you can see, you have eyes to see, you can read, and you can understand what you're being faced with. You're being plagued with corruption, plagued with corrupt practices under this installed regime. And it's time for you to vote the right way. And even when you vote the right way, you can make sure you tell everybody, tell people who you vote for. I think they have to find a way, the public has to find a way to combat the corrupt practices. Because if you're voting one way and then there's fraudulent votes being turned into to be counted or tabulated, there has to be a better way, and you gotta advocate for your changes. This is your Guyana. Guyana is not the PPP's country, but you're allowing it to be portrayed as such. So I want to encourage you to, press advocate for changes. And remember, Guyana is our Guyana. It's not the PPP's Guyana, okay? So having said that, guys, it was a pleasure being here tonight, a pleasure joining Mark and Lincoln. And I want to also say thank you so much for your support as usual. And I will continue to advocate for changes in Guyana.
All right, we want to leave on a good note. This young man, some of you who may have read the news recognize him, is Dennis Barnes. And this young man, Dennis Barnes, who goes by his middle name Malik, has earned a record of $9 million in college scholarships and has been accepted to 170 schools. Teenager Dennis Barnes is already breaking multi-million-dollar records and attracting attention from colleges and universities around the country. 9,170,170. Lincoln.
Black
170.
excellence, Mark.
Not
Black
only that, Miss Washington and all of our listeners, he is of Guyanese heritage.
Black excellence.
How many of you guys know that his folks are actually from Guyana? I haven't seen this in the papers. The Jamaicans own up to their people. The Trinidadians own up. We got to own up to this young man. We've got to own up to this young man. 170 colleges. He's from that village, our village. We've got to own up to him. Lincoln, I see you smiling, like the Barnes. Congratulations, young man. Dennis Barnes, also known as... Go ahead, sir.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Let's close off. We close off on that note. Congratulations again. Look at it. Again, take a look at this. 170 schools. 170? $9 million US.
Mark, that's every school he applied to accepted him.
These are real colleges and universities, real ones.
Not IFLA, not University of IFLA.
Certainly not. Congratulations, Dennis Barnes. Lincoln.
Yeah, congratulations to him.
We might as well leave with a happy note, man. But your closing remarks quickly, Lincoln.
Let me say to you that these little things, they really help to keep our sanity going. Tomorrow, when you put in the paper, when somebody sees in the papers, you will see how people gravitate to something like that. It helps you to be better than you are. It's an act of encouragement, and it is an act that helps you to continue having faith that some people can do better than what the PPP will want to describe them as. Let me take this opportunity to say to Shalon and yourself, I enjoyed the moments talking with you guys. We will have to hold hands and not only crusade, but we will have to hold hands and circle the wagon to make sure that we deal with these brigands, these criminals. Life can only get good if we work together, we eat together, we sleep together, and we run together. That is what's going to help us. Right now, the PPP is of the view that they are ahead because we're not working together. We're not walking together. But we will get there. We will get there. If our forebears who fought slavery had similar challenges and they were able to overcome, we shall overcome. We shall overcome. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lincoln.
The audience,
again, congratulations.
Congratulations. Yes, and more to Mark, and more so, I'm encouraging the workers of this country to join us on 1st of May. Come out there with your red shirts. Don't believe that the red belongs to the PPP.
Oh.
The red is reflective of the blood that I've shed over the years. The blood we have given. So don't believe that they take within.
We will carry it live
Red
right here. Labor Day.
Originate.
We will. Yeah. But thank you so much, Joe Lincoln. And again,
Monday.
let's go back to this here. 170 schools. Irfan, not I-flat, 170 schools. $9 million. Wow. It makes me want to go back in my teenage years. I probably would have gotten double that amount, seriously. Congratulations.
You can put on your short pants and go.
I know. Congrats. Guyanese heritage, Guyanese background, Guyanese. I just want you guys to know that. All right. Congrats, young man. And again, to both of you, thank you so much for your time as always. Miss Washington, thank you. Comrade Lewis, thank you so much. We'll talk. Hopefully, we'll see you back tomorrow. We want to find out what's happening with your land, but we'll leave at that this evening. Thank you all.
All right. Thank you and good night, Mark.
Thank you so much, Miss Washington. Mr. Lewis, thank you, sir. And to all of our listeners, thanks again. Thanks so much. This young man is from the village and that community. It takes a village, of course, and his success ought to be our success, that we look at it and we want our folks within the village, within the community to follow and do almost the same thing or even better. Congrats, Dennis Barnes. Congratulations to you. We are all proud of you, young man. And we'll just end on that note tonight, a very positive note. All of you, thank you so much for watching. J.R. Crawford, be strong. Be strong. Going through a situation, someone has passed, his daughter-in-law, so condolences to J.R. Crawford. So I didn't want to end with such a note, but I cannot be off the air tonight and not extend condolences to J.R. Crawford and his family on behalf of the passing of his daughter-in-law. So we'll also end on that note. God bless you all. See you tomorrow. Same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. God bless you all. Tata.
Basement level vibes with another one.
So this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Basement level vibes with another one, straight up blackness. Aye. Who tell the truth? Mark Benscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benscop, who tell the truth? Mark Benscop, defend the ghetto youth. Mark Benscop, radio station is the fruit. Mark Benscop, straight up from the root. Mark Benscop, I do it for the love, him not do it for no money. Straight up, him attack, educating everybody. Big up my friends and big up my family. Turn on the radio, catch the vibes, it's integrity. Straight up, Benscop stands for unity. One people, one nation, one destiny. Free up the truth in the air, even the blind can see.